Hi guys, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Shea.
Welcome back to our channel.
Today we're going to be doing a Q&A because it is the 1-year anniversary of the end of World War II. So we're going to just be doing a Q&A and answering some questions about our experience in World War II.
Throughout our video, we're also going to be referring to the story All But My Life by Gerda Wismo Klein. This story really relates to our story, so we're just going to be referencing to that a lot too.
So I'm not sure if we mentioned this or if you guys know this already, but I'm German and she's Jewish. So our first question is, how did you guys stay so close throughout World War II despite your differences?
Shea and I have been friends since elementary school and middle school. Our families before World War II started were super close, and so we just thought that nothing would be able to separate us, despite that we were different religions.
Yeah, and our parents actually during World War II were not friends anymore. My dad was a Nazi, so he really did not like their family anymore. And this actually ties into the next question too. Did I ever want to help Lauren hide during World War II? And the answer is yes. I actually talked to my parents about it, and obviously they didn't agree with that idea. But I sometimes still snuck her in at night and stuff to keep her safe, and then she would have to leave in the morning. So yeah.
Yeah, obviously both my parents wanted what was best for me, so they tried talking to her parents too, just to make a deal with them to keep me safe and not be in the house. But so yeah, I would just stay there during the night, and then I would eventually leave in the morning and go back home. Our next question is going to be for Shea, and it was, what was the saddest experience you remember from World War II?
I just remember overall walking outside after a bomb was dropped or something, and everything was just on fire and burning. And this actually also has to do with the story. The girl in the story also experienced that. Burning was a huge motif in this story too. She said several Jews had been rounded up in the streets, locked in the temple, and the temple was set on fire. And it also says, I smelled something burning. And then they also referenced fire when she says, the red glow was reflected in each of our faces, and there was Mama burning with the strange fire of destruction. I can just really relate with that because I just remember walking outside and seeing everything was on fire, and it was just so sad.
Yeah, it was really hard just because obviously the bombs and the fire was all there to reference the Jews, and the Jewish people were bad and they wanted the Jewish people gone.
Yeah, and that was hard for me seeing that because I was well, this is my best friend, the Nazis are trying to do this to them, and it was just really sad for me knowing that that was targeted to her.
Okay, our next question is for both of us, and it is, what is something you remember vividly from World War II? For me, it was definitely waking up in the morning and just hearing all the Germans just outside with their tanks and just going through the houses taking Jews. That was definitely one of the hardest things that I've had to experience, knowing that my parents were getting taken. It references to the story as an onomatopoeia, saying that we heard the loud rumbling of enemy tanks. And something that really painted a picture in my mind, so imagery played a really big role, saying that their faces were haggard, drawn, and unshaven, and in their eyes there was a panic and defeat. So the Jewish army being outside, knowing that there was nothing they could really do.
And then for me, I just remember hearing the planes, the German planes, even just when I was at my house, it just reminded me about the war, and every time I heard it there was just a pit in my stomach. And the girl in the story had the same thing happen to her. This is onomatopoeia. She says, when the German planes roared through the sky. I think it really depicts how it actually sounded and was. And then here and there a rocket, blood spouting from the wounded earth, shot into the evening sky, bathing the valley in a grotesque red. When it says a rocket like blood spouting, that's a simile. And then also blood spouting from the wounded earth, that would be personification, because it's giving the earth a human characteristic of being wounded. Our final question is for Lauren, and it is, are you still close with your family?
Well, both my parents I haven't seen since the end of the war, actually. Before my mom died and my dad was taken away, actually, my mom gave me a bracelet with a flower on it, and it just really, to me, flowers just represent the good in the world, and happiness and bright. And so even when I didn't have my parents and just it seemed like the whole world was almost against me, the flowers just the bracelet that I had really helped me get through the hard times. Flowers in the story also is a huge symbolism. It talks about on page 1, in the center of the city among carefully tended flower beds. So this is kind of stating that in the beginning, before World War II really was put into action, that the city was really put together and nicely made. And then it says, the yellow flowers on Mama's black housecoat seem to be burning. So saying that like once World War II started, the city kind of started to go down and that the goodness was starting to fade away.
All right, guys, so that's the end of our video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you have any questions.
Thank you
and
for
see you for the next
watching.
video.